Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So I've been meaning to make today's video for the longest while and I just never got around to it, but better late than never. So in today's video, I'm just going to be sharing essential items that you should have as a braider beyond... Sorry, my window's open and people are drag racing outside, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I want to make this video about products or items that you should have as a braider that's beyond the obvious products, combs, clips, and braiding hair. So this is just, a little bit more than your usual items. It's not a long list, but it's just a few things to make your braiding jobs easier and also look a little bit more professional if you're doing this as a home business or a traveling service like I do. Just because I know I have a lot of newer braiders who follow me, so this is just to help you guys out, because when I first started braiding, I didn't have all this extra stuff, so these are just little things to make your job a little bit easier. So let's just get into it. So the first thing that I would suggest getting is a Braider Band, which looks like this. It's like a slap band and it just goes on your wrist, and you have the plate right here that you put your product on. The old-fashioned way, or the usual way of doing braids, you put the product on the back of your wrist and you just keep it there as you're braiding. The issue with that was that a lot of times, or at least for me, your body heat will cause it to melt and slip off your hands, so you couldn't put too much on at a time. And also, when you're done, your hands are like all sticky, but whatever. But I just find it more out of the way to have it on your wrist rather than the back of your hand. So this is what they look like, and this is just a metal hair. And honestly, guys, this was not the original purpose of this item. This is I don't know the official name, but the point of it was to put bobby pins and hairpins for people who are doing updos and wedding hair and stuff like that. So you just have your bobby pins right on your wrist, and you can just pull them off and put them in your client's hair without having to dig through the box or the container of hairpins where they're usually all tangled and stuck together. But here we braiders come, and we found a use for this. So now it's the same exact tool, but we're here calling it a Braider Band just because we found a use for it. So that's what it is. So whoever sells these can sell these to all different types of hairstyles with different names and make a lot of money selling this one item. But anyway, yeah, that's what this is. So you can just search up a braiding band or magnetic wristband, or there's a lot of names for it, but it's definitely helpful to us braiders. So they have them in these square ones, and then they also have ones now that are shaped. So I got one with a little heart as the plate. I saw one on Amazon that I really want to get. It has a cheetah print face with a black band, or the other way around, but I don't need it, but I want it. But anyway, they come in a lot of different colors. Some of them, they have them now where it's like a little bowl, so you can put your gel on there or whatever, but this is what they originally look like. So definitely suggest getting that for you braiders out there. Another thing that some braiders do, which I've done sometimes too, where instead of using the band, you can also get a latex glove and just cut the fingers off and then put it on your hand so that you have that little barrier between your skin and the gel, which I've done before when I forgot to bring my braiding band with me, but I still like the band better. But that's just another thing you can do. I've also seen people like tie tape or like some sort of strip around their hands, or like plastic wrap around their hands. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but I just suggest doing something to get the gel off of your skin so that, one, your hands feel cleaner, and then also the body heat does not melt your product off of your hand. So the next thing I will suggest is getting a hot water kettle. They're portable, they're convenient, they make dipping the ends of your braids a whole lot easier. I got this one from Walmart, and I like it because the opening is very wide. A lot of the kettles, they get kind of narrow at the opening, so I like this one. I just wish that this opened all the way up, but yeah, you could fit a lot of braids in here, and it's pretty deep, and there's no coil on the inside, because some of them have the coils inside of the basin, and I don't like that, but whatever gets the job done. So, the regular way of dipping ends, we usually heat up a kettle or a pot of water on our stove, and then you dip the braids into the pot, or you pour the pot of water into a pitcher, and then you dip your braids. But this is easy because you can just leave the water right in there. It has the base that plugs in. You leave it on for however long it takes, and then you just carry the water over to your client and dip it. And this is really, really helpful if you're a traveling stylist, because now you don't have to like awkwardly ask to use their stove. Now you have it all to yourself, so you just fill it with the water and then plug it in somewhere, and then you're good. So definitely suggest this. This has made braiding a lot easier for me. Next, I will suggest getting one of these, and it is a Braider Rack. So this is great for if you're doing any styles when you have to keep on consistently feeding in hair to a braid. So you could just prep all your hair right on these pegs right here. Some of mine broke because I carried around a lot, so they do break easily, unfortunately. But yeah, you just put a little section of hair on each peg, And then this has 60 pegs on it. They have the ones that have 120. And then also you can kind of double it a little bit. Like you can put one on each and then you go back over and put it on every other one. The point is it makes prepping your hair a lot easier. This way you don't have to use the backs of a chair, or you don't have to have your client separate the hair for you. So when you're doing knotless braids or feed-in braids or even regular box braids, having this is very, very helpful. And this is another one of those things that is not originally made for braiders. We just kind of took it upon ourselves and decided to call it a braiding rack. This is actually for spools of thread for sewing. You put all the threads on here to keep it separated and look at all the colors and, you know, whatever. I don't sew. I used to, but anyway, but this is what it's originally for. But some brilliant braider decided to put their hair on it, and now these are sold as braiding racks. And for some reason, when you buy it as a thread spool holder, they're $10, but when you buy it as a braiding rack, it's like $15 or more. I don't know why. It's the same exact thing. So I got this one from Walmart for $10. But like I said, they have different sizes that you can find online. And also, I think now they sell them in a plastic material. Some brands have it in plastic so they don't break as easily. But yeah, this is originally called a thread rack. It already existed, but here we braiders come acting like we invented this. We're just taking something that was already there and acting like we made a discovery. We're just all out here Columbusing. Don't hate. Don't hate. The point is it gets the job done, so I definitely suggest getting one of these. It makes braiding a lot easier. It does take a while to fill these, and it could be very annoying having to get these filled, but once it's started, you can just keep on going and going. I actually have 3 of these. I have one at the salon I work at, and then I have 2 that I work with at home or I travel with, so I have them all, like, I get all the hair done before I even get started, and then I can just keep going and not worry about having to reload. So it's definitely a time saver once you get started. So next, I would say to get different items for curling the ends of your braid. So I have these different rollers or perm rods that I like to use. And this is for people who want, you know, the curly ends on their braid. Usually you would make the curls by braiding the hair together and then dipping it, and then it comes out all crinkly. But not everybody wants a crinkly look, especially now. I've noticed that having more uniform curls is really, really in with box braids now. So to get more of a pretty spiral, I like to use these different items. So I just have a bag full of them. So I have these flexi rods in here, which have a little bit of a bigger curl. Obviously the size affects the curl. I'm going to try and find pictures of braids that I've done with different sizes. So I've used these on myself actually, which I'll put up somewhere. And you get a more of a looser curl with them. And then I have these in this smaller size. These ones actually link together like little donuts, but I thought they were flexi rods, but they do exactly the same thing. You wrap the hair around it, you close it, and you dip it. And it has a more defined little spiral. Or I have perm rods that I use. They come in different sizes. Different sizes have different, you know, spirals, of course, but they all get the same job done. It just depends on how you want the braids to look at the end. So I definitely suggest getting something like that to have more of a uniform curl rather than just a random crinkly look, unless that is what you're looking for, because sometimes it is what they're looking for. I also got these at my local beauty supply store because I've seen other braiders use them on YouTube or wherever I follow them. And they come out with really pretty spirals at the end, but I just can't seem to figure out how to get the hair to stay on here. Like, you're supposed to wrap it and have a little clip on it, but for some reason, whenever I use them, it falls right off the braid once I dip it. So these were a fail for me, and I have so many of them. So honestly, if I knew someone who wanted them, I would just give them away because they were no use to me. But yeah, these all just help make your braids look a little bit prettier. Again, it depends on what your client is looking for, but I definitely suggest having something to curl your hair. Even if you are doing the braiding method, I still like to use a little perm rod at the end so that you don't get that stringy piece at the end of the braid. You know what I mean? Like, usually when you braid the hair, the end doesn't braid, because there's always those few pieces that are left and it ends up still coming out straight because it's not defined enough. So I like to put a little perm rod at the end. So just little finishing products or finishing tools, I would say, to curl your braids. So along with that, I wouldn't say that this is essential, but I would also suggest getting jewelry for your clients. So, you know, the braiding thread and also the jewelry that comes in multiple colors. Silver and gold are the most common, but you can get colored versions of them as well. So I like to buy these large packs at the beauty supply store, and then I just use a couple on each client who wants them. And they come in different sizes. And like I said, they come in colors as well. And you can find some packs that are like all pink, all blue, all green. You can buy them in any color, and then same thing with the string. Different colors, and then of course silver and gold. I used to go to one store where they sold them in spools, which I prefer, but that store closed, and the other stores that I go to don't have them. but I just like that better because it's so much neater. Like this, well, this is coming off. One of my kid clients unraveled this, but the little spools. So yeah, just little things. If you want, you can always like charge like an extra $1 or something if you want to do that. I used to do that, but then I decided not to do it because I was like, they're so cheap and I really don't care that much. I don't mind just buying them. Because a lot of times the clients, they don't necessarily want it at first, and then once their braids are done, I'm like, you want some jewelry? And they're like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to throw some on. So I'm not going to go on and be like, oh, it's an extra $1. You know what I'm saying? I used to charge because I would buy the little tiny packs that actually cost $1. So I'll be like, you just buy it from me. So I won't profit from it. It's just like they're using me instead of the store. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's always fun to have those items, those options for your clients. Makes their braids prettier, makes your pictures prettier when you take your pictures to post them. So yeah, it's just a fun little add-on to offer your clients. Oh, and then there's this pretty rainbow one. I use this on kids a lot. It's so pretty. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, but along with having a kettle, I would definitely suggest bringing towels. If you are traveling, always have your own towels. A lot of times clients are like, oh, you want me to get my own towel? And I'll be like, no, I have towels. And they're all impressed with it. You know, little things like that really up your game. It makes you look a whole lot more professional. I should close my window, but I don't want to. It's usually quiet in this neighborhood, but for some reason, everybody's out today. But yeah, I like to have a big towel to put around their back so they don't get burned. And then I have these little hand towels for myself for drying off their braids when I'm done dipping them. And then the final thing I will suggest is a cape to put around your client while you're doing their hair. Because, you know, braiding hair, it gets everywhere. And then also at the end when you're snipping the ends of the braids or going up the braids and taking off those flyaway pieces, that could really... you get hair splinters from that. You know, it can stick in their clothes, it can stick on their skin, and it's very uncomfortable. So you don't want them to feel that. Also, when you're putting mousse and spray, you don't want to be spraying all of them. So it's always good to keep them protected under a cape at all times. And again, it looks very, very professional to throw a cape on your client. So along with that, I would say that this is more optional than essential, but you can also have an apron for yourself. So this is my apron. I got it at Cosmoprof a couple years ago. But to be completely honest with you guys, I don't wear an apron when I'm braiding. I know it looks more professional to wear something, but I just don't. I only wear an apron when I'm doing color or bleach or a relaxer or some sort of chemical service where I want to protect myself and my clothes as well. But honestly and truly, I don't really wear it while I'm braiding. But it does look more professional, so if you prefer to have one, I would definitely suggest getting one, and then you don't have to be covered in hair splinters as well. So this is mine. As you can see, I love pink animal print. Have a little theme going here. But yeah, that's an option too. So that is all that I have for you guys today. That is my list of essential items that you should have as a braider. It helps make your braiding life a lot easier and just make you look more professional and just helps you get the job done. So I hope you guys found it helpful and entertaining. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!